Hi, everyone. It's Joe Veneri, the host of Fit Insider, the show where I talk with the entrepreneurs, executives, and investors who are redefining the business of fitness and wellness. Today, I'm joined by Matteo Franceschetti. Matteo is the CEO of 8 Sleep, the sleep fitness company. In today's episode, we talked about how 8 Sleep is using AI, data, and temperature regulation to improve sleep, how Matteo plans to expand beyond the mattress to reinvent the entire sleep environment, and why 8 Sleep is often compared to Tesla. Let's get into it. Hi, Matteo. Welcome to Fit Insider. Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to our conversation. And just to kick things off, can you tell us a bit more about 8 Sleep, what you're working on, and what led you to this idea?
Yeah, 8 Sleep is the first sleep fitness company. We leverage technology to improve your sleep performance. So think of the opportunity of sleeping less, but recovering faster and more in the near future.
And when you say the sleep fitness company, what does that encompass now from a kind of product perspective? And what does that look like in terms of like the roadmap?
Yeah, so the current hero product is called the Pod, POD. And the Pod is the first smart mattress that changes and controls your temperature during the night. So it can heat and cool between 55 and 100 degrees. Each side of the bed can have a different temperature. And our machine learning and AI system adjust the temperature based on your biometrics. So imagine that, multiple times per night, you have a different temperature based on your sleep stages. This is what is the current Pod. In the future, our products will control all the environmental factors that can have an impact on your sleep. So you can think of light, noise, oxygen, humidity, everything. The whole point here is, again, to maximize your sleep recovery so you can sleep less but wake up more refreshed and in better shape than before.
Yeah, and I was in doing research. I was reading, and I think in an interview, you once said that in terms of the need for a product like this and the opportunity in the market, that everybody sleeps. So really, your customer potentially is everybody. And to this point, you've seen companies approach this from maybe they'll give you a wearable on your wrist or another sensor on your body, or put a mattress topper with some type of sensor or cooling device on it. But you've kind of taken that next step to say, like, we're going to build the entire mattress and control the analytics from there. What was the evolution of that, going from, or not deciding that in tackling sleep, we're going to do some of these other components, but we're really going to build kind of the all-in-one piece for sleep monitoring?
Yeah, so obviously data is really important, but data is not actionable enough for the users. So we started originally with just a sleep tracker, and the feedback from the users was very clear. It was, okay, look, all this data is great, but so what? And so that is when we really understood that we had to take actions for our users in order to improve their sleep. And so that is how data becomes relevant, because we use your data, your biometrics and your sleep stages to adjust environmental factors that can help you improve your sleep. There are already multiple clinical studies, or even Matthew Walker in his book, Why We Sleep, that prove that temperature is the most important factor impacting the quality of your sleep. And so that is why we decided to start with that. And so it's a whole smart mattress that is able to track your biometrics and based on that, adjust the temperature to help you fall asleep faster and get more deep sleep.
And with that, when you're thinking about from a user perspective, it's making these adjustments through the night. And you mentioned data being a portion of this, and originally starting with a sleep tracker. What does the user experience, what does their use case look like? So I order the pod, the mattress, and I have the whole setup. What am I doing to understand how well I'm sleeping and potentially if I need to make changes?
Absolutely. So it looks like a mattress, but is really the most sophisticated device for sleep improvement that is out there. You can buy it online and you receive it between 3 and 5 business days. You just go to sleep as you did last night. There is nothing to wear. There is nothing to charge. and you just sleep as usual. But the difference here is the bed is tracking everything about your health. So think of the pod as a sort of stethoscope. Our data about heart rate monitoring and sleep quality are really impressive compared to a medical grade device, and I can tell you more about that. And then based on this information, we also recommend different temperature settings. So usually, for example, for temperature, you should not sleep at the same temperature the whole night. So when you hear people saying, "Oh, I set my bedroom temperature at 68 degrees because I heard that is the right temperature," that's wrong. And the reason is your body temperature changes during the night. And so you should start slightly warmer so you can fall asleep. Otherwise, if it's too cold, your heart rate is pumping blood to keep the extremities warm. So you should start warmer. And then as soon as you fall asleep, your bed should cool down and keep you cold while you are asleep and unconscious. Then a couple of hours before you wake up, you reactivate your body by changing temperature again so you don't wake up feeling groggy. And that is what the pod does for you using machine learning and AI based on your data.
And a couple of things you mentioned there in terms of how you arrived at this technology and maybe the R&D that went into that. Take us behind the scenes a little bit. What does the team look like in terms of who's developing this, and what does it take? What has it taken to get to this point?
Yeah, I mean, we're really, I would say, some journalists and some people call us the Tesla of sleep, right? So if you think of what Tesla is for the automotive industry, I think that we are trying the same for sleep. So again, the pod looks like a mattress, but it's really a consumer electronic device with the most sophisticated technology in sleep. One of my co-founders, Max, he has been a technologist and a hacker since when he was really, really young. And he has a very wide knowledge in both hardware and software. Largest majority of our company is engineers. We have some of the best ML and AI engineers, plus Max. So just to give you an idea, we don't even have a foam expert in our company. And the reason is foam, like any mattress, is just a commodity. You can just go to a foam manufacturer today and start your basic dumb mattress company today. So we don't even spend a penny on hiring someone for that, because we just work with the greatest foam manufacturer in the world, and they just provide us with the best foam, which again is a commodity. All the value is in the technology. We use piezo sensors. So there are these sensors that transform your bed in a sort of stethoscope. As I was saying earlier, the way we look at your data is exactly we use software to look at your data in the same way that a doctor would look at you through a stethoscope, So that is the same type of signal. And we can pick up heart rate, we can pick up vibration, we can pick up snoring and respiration, and then obviously sleep stages and sleep quality. Based on all this information, we suggest different temperature settings. We have developed a technology that is liquid cooling. So we use liquid to heat and cool you. And as I was saying earlier, the temperature can range between 55 degrees, which is obviously really, really cold. So very few people can sleep at that temperature. And it can go up to 100 degrees. And the reason is everyone, because of gender, because of body fat, because of metabolism, everyone needs a different temperature. Your temperature will be different from mine, and our system will know that and adjust accordingly.
And with that, all the talk about when you're thinking about analyzing sleep and the temperature and technology, you mentioned, in the history to this point of the mattresses and just going to sleep, there have been evolutions in terms of the foam and, getting comfortable, but nobody has really taken it that next step to say we're going to build a technology platform around improving your sleep. What took so long, and what has changed even in the kind of culture for this, a product like 8 Sleep, for this to be the right time?
Yeah, this is a great question. I think, so for sleep, it's happening the same thing that happened for fitness 10, 20 years ago, right? And so right now, going to the gym when you are at an hotel, going to the gym on a regular basis is pretty standard. But it was not 20 years ago, right? And so there has been an education, and now everyone knows that, taking care of your body and being fit is really important for your health and your longevity. And the next step is sleep. And the reason is simple. So health is based on three pillars. One is nutrition. One is working out, and so going to the gym. And the third is sleep. So overall, we have a decent knowledge about nutrition, and there are a lot of people already taking care of their nutrition. We have a decent knowledge about working out, because a good amount of people is going to a gym and taking care of their health by being fit. But until now, there was no company really taking care of your sleep, which is the third pillar. And actually, it's probably the first pillar, meaning if you sleep 2 hours per night, there is no way you go to the gym or you have the energy. And at that point, nutrition and energy, because of going to the gym, really matter. So sleep is really the first step that you need to take in order to be fit and healthy. And then on top of that, you need to take care of your nutrition and your regular fitness.
Yeah, it makes a ton of sense when we think about it. And as we're talking about it, it does sound like we're almost approaching, quote unquote, wellness backwards. People oftentimes say that, your results from the gym start in the kitchen. It's based on the amount of food and what types of food you eat. But really, the food and nutrition are impacted by your sleep. So the sleep part is at the heart of all that. Recognizing that there's that common sense piece that is true. But still, people are sacrificing sleep. They're not sleeping enough. Maybe they don't have any sense of how well they're sleeping. What type of education are you having to do to basically convince people that they need this product?
Yeah, I think, first of all, we can start from our data, right? 85% of people that sleep cool on the pod, so they use cooling, report improvement in their sleep. We see less toss and turns, so 10% less toss and turns. And we also see an increase in deep sleep and a reduction in number of interruptions. And so the number of wake-ups in the middle of the night. So our data is already is already showing an improvement in your sleep. On top of that, we provide all this information about your sleep quality. And we are also impacting your behaviors. So we show you a score that we call the sleep fitness score. And this is based on a couple of behaviors, which are the same that the sleep doctor would recommend you. So if you want to improve your sleep, there are a couple of things that you should immediately do. First, you should try to sleep between 7 and 9 hours of sleep, right? Anything below 7 is not recommended. Second, you should try to wake up always at the same time. So wake up consistency is one of the most important things for your sleep. Don't oversleep during the weekend, because then when Monday comes, you will just feel groggy to wake up early again. And so our sleep fitness score is based on these sort of behaviors in order to push you to behave exactly as a sleep doctor would recommend.
Yeah, that's incredible. And in addition to the mattress itself, there's also the app that you're able to control the temperature through, and there's a subscription. What type of information are people able to access through the subscription, and how does that support the overall platform?
Yeah, and this is a very good point. So the key difference between the pod and any dumb mattress is, on one side, the whole technology and sensors that are embedded in the pod itself. But on top of that, there is the whole digital experience. And the digital experience includes temperature control, includes all the data, in particular data about your sleep and your heart rate and your respiration. And then there is another piece of the digital experience that is the content. So we created specific meditation and breathing exercises designed to help you fall asleep faster, which is our goal. A lot of our customers, sometimes they have problems to fall asleep. Their mind is racing, or they're stressed, or they're nervous, or they're anxious. And so we have developed this special content that helps them to relax and then fall asleep faster on their pod.
Yeah, I think that part is really interesting as well around the content. One of the things that we've kind of noticed, and we wrote a report on Fit Insider recently about sleep and kind of the landscape. You see companies like Calm who have expanded from this mindfulness meditation into sleep and bedtime stories. How do you see this impacting the overall landscape? That meditation and sleep and breathing exercises, they're really closely linked. So you have that overlap with like a mindfulness and meditation company, and they also have overlap with what you're doing.
Yeah, I think the key difference and strengths of 8 Sleep is we provide all that you need for your sleep. And because you sleep on the pod and we have your data, we know for you what you need, and we will recommend it or we will provide it to you directly, right? And so obviously the pod is our hero product, but then we have other products that we have developed because that is what our customers need. We just launched a collaboration for supplements. So we work with a company called Thorn, and we are selling some of the best supplements to help you fall asleep faster. We develop a special type of glasses that you could wear, blue light glasses that you could wear at night before going to bed in order to stop and block any blue light and to help you develop melatonin and fall asleep faster. So we are really creating an ecosystem of products that you could wear or use before going to bed or while you are asleep in order to maximize your sleep performance. All this is possible because you sleep on the pod, and so we have your data and we know if you have problems to fall asleep or if you have problems to stay asleep or if you toss and turn too much or you sleep hot or cold.
Yeah, it's a super compelling vision when you start to think about all the things that go into optimizing sleep and performance. And that's one of the points that I wanted to touch on was when you think about this opportunity, there are other companies who are in the just mattress space. You call it a dumb mattress, which I think is hilarious. And obviously, Casper didn't quite have the performance in terms of public offering that it had hoped. But then to this point, 8 Sleep has raised some $70 million. And you think about what that big vision is and what got investors excited. Is it the element of we're building the sleep fitness company, this platform that has all the different products related to sleep? What were you pitching them and what got investors excited about, being a part of 8 Sleep?
Yeah, it's the technology, right? So the latest disruption in sleep was about how you buy a mattress. And a couple of different companies have done a great job there. But if you think they didn't innovate on the product side, they just made it simpler to buy. So it's about convenience, but it's not about the product itself. And so the next disruption in sleep is what is happening now, and it's happening through technology. But until now, most of the companies were focused only on the sleep tracking, which, as we said, is nice, but sleep tracking alone is not actionable. It's not going to improve your sleep. And so I think what excited our investors was the opportunity here of a company that is able to monitor your data and based on data, take action for you and improve your sleep quality. So everyone sleeps, so the market is huge. We know how many people struggle with sleep. 50 to 60% of the adult population have problems to fall asleep. And we leverage technology to improve sleep for them. So there is convenience because you have to do nothing, just go to bed and you will get better sleep. We will take care of it for you.
And when you look then across the dumb mattress landscape, it really just becomes a commodity. And the technology that you're creating is really, reinventing the category while helping people live a healthier life.
Yeah. And actually, so I think one of the most exciting things for our investors, because of the type of investors they are, it was exactly the technological moat, right? So cost at the beginning and funders fund later. But I think what excites them is to know that to develop our technology is really complicated. That there is no company right now doing what we are doing, that we have 4 years of advantage because we started 4 years ago, and we have 30,000 people sleeping on our products across the world.
And that 30,000, is that all this latest generation Hero product, or is that kind of all the versions up until this point?
It's all the versions that we have released and all the products that we have released. But the pod right now is really the largest majority of our sales, which is very interesting because it proves that people are not that price sensitive for something as important as sleep. So they are open to pay a premium for a technology that has an impact not just on their sleep, but on their health and on their longevity. Because don't forget that being so accurate at tracking your heart rate will unlock a lot of opportunities for us in the future. And obviously, it's already unlocking opportunities to help you improve your sleep quality.
And do you think, in addition to there's obvious competition in the mattress landscape, but as time goes on and the technology becomes the differentiator, then do you see yourself competing with wearables in general, saying that, you don't need to wear this watch or this ring or, whatever the sensor is because it's in the mattress? So is that a competition going forward? And then taking a step further, is it even, an 8 Sleep wearable that does track you throughout the day to give you that complete picture?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. And I don't see wearables as a competitor. And the reason is, for us, the data is obviously extremely valuable, but it's just the beginning of what we do, right? The real value for the user here is the sleep improvement. And the sleep improvement right now comes through the cooling or can come through the other products that we would suggest to you based on where you struggle. And so we will have no problems to partner eventually with a wearable company because, again, right now, no one in the market can actually and actively improve your sleep quality. We do it mainly through temperature, but many more products are coming. And again, they will be designed around improving sleep for you based on your data. Then the data source could be us, or it could be a partnership with someone else. We are agnostic to that.
Yeah, that makes sense. And to this point, you mentioned, some 30,000 people that are using the products. Do you have a sense for that demographic, who that kind of target customer is and how you're able to reach them?
Yeah, first of all, they are health conscious people. They are people that are already taking care of their nutrition. They are already taking care of their general fitness. And now they want to take care of their sleep. So they want to become sleep fit. They are usually between 25 and 45 years old. They range between men and women. And most of them, they have used a wearable in the past. So they are already into, they already have knowledge about tracking themselves. But what they are looking for is an edge. And that's why a large part of Silicon Valley and even pretty famous and successful people in Silicon Valley, they are using our product because it's giving them the extra edge they need to perform in their personal and professional lives compared to anyone else.
Yeah, and you mentioned this kind of point has come up a couple of times. You said that, in the media, some companies have referred to you as the Tesla of sleep, and you're kind of taking this approach where now some kind of high performers, Silicon Valley, are using your product. Is the intent over time to create this platform of products, this suite of products that are like Tesla, accessible at different price points and really, accessible more broadly? Or is it to stay at this premium kind of tier and hope that, people aspire to that place?
Our end goal is obviously to make everyone sleep fit. And so we understand that people have different price points. And we understand it's a very large market. Right now, the number one focus is to really develop the most sophisticated technology on earth for sleep improvement. And I think we are there, and we are working on what is going to come next, which will be awesome. And then as the company grows, obviously it will be part of our roadmap to expand our total addressable market by targeting different people.
Mm-hmm.
Then when you target different people, there are different ways to do that, right? We want to make sure that there could be new accessories that could be an introduction for them to the 8 Sleep experience. And then after experiencing the quality of our thermoregulation through other accessories, they might convert into the pod. The key thing is when you buy a bed is an investment. It's something that you will keep using for the next 6 to 8 years. And so obviously there is there are different price points, but I think for the current audience, the price of our pod, in particular, if you finance it, we're really talking about somewhere around $60-$70 a month. It depends on the size, right? But if you think we're talking about $2 a day to have the best night of sleep ever, it's less than a coffee at Starbucks.
Yeah, the math definitely checks out when you start to think about, ROI and what that does. The same thing with a lot of, you get the pushback a lot from whether it's connected fitness companies or meal delivery, all those things. It seems expensive up front, but the investment, returns and dividends when you look at something like sleep and your health.
Yeah, in particular, health and longevity, right? So I think there are a couple of different dimensions. There is one that is obviously how you feel every morning, and that it's really important. And then there is your overall health. Sleep is extremely important to make sure that you're well rested and your health is in shape. And then there is longevity overall, right? You shouldn't sacrifice your sleep. In the past, in the 90s, there were some entrepreneurs that they were very proud of saying, oh, I sleep only 4 hours per night, and so I work harder than anyone else. I think nowadays that doesn't sound good anymore because it means you're just not taking care of your body and your longevity.
Yeah, it has been really interesting to watch. It's almost flipped entirely from not sleeping as a badge of honor to optimizing sleep. And then going a step further, sleep as it relates to not only performance, but longevity and longevity science. Everything around the research of, not sleeping has been shown to increase levels of dementia and Parkinson's and things like that.
Yeah.
And then going a step further beyond that, now where companies are saying we're bringing mindfulness and sleep culture and rest and incentivizing employees to sleep and take care of themselves. So it's completely changed in not a long period of time.
Yeah, one thing I like to say is not sleeping enough is the new smoking, right? So you need to sleep at least 7 hours. But again, everyone is different. So you need to take care of your sleep. Otherwise, it's the new smoking.
Definitely. Are there things that, whether it's kind of how you're approaching it personally or how 8 Sleep is taking this approach of sleep and recovery into the core values of the company? Are those things that you think about consciously and have enacted?
Yeah. And actually, I think one of the things that is happening and I'm really happy about is how the importance of sleep is really becoming a must across the whole company. So I was just talking today to one of our team members, and he was talking to me about how his attitude towards health and wellness and sleep fitness has changed since when he joined the company. Because people immediately understand the impact of what we are doing and how this is impactful on their health as well. Me specifically, obviously I'm very, very diligent about my sleep. I tend to be very consistent about the time I wake up quite early. 30 minutes to 40 minutes between 30 and 1 hour before going to bed, I turn off the lights or I switch to orange lights. I wear blue light blocking glasses. And from time to time, I take melatonin or magnesium to help me fall asleep. I always try to sleep 8 hours. And usually 1 week per month, I try to sleep 8 hours and a half. I call it the sleep marathon. And so I try to reduce training and oversleep in order to recover. It's like going on vacation, but you don't go on vacation, but that helps you recover faster, in particular for your brain.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's an interesting concept because you hear people who are, maybe athletes or competitive runners who kind of take a taper week or that, deloading week. And this is kind of the sleep approach to that, where you're just getting some extra sleep to allow yourself to recover.
Exactly. And I have seen it working great for me, both physically in terms of my body, but in particular mentally. So another thing maybe you could reduce is if you do meditation, you could meditate less and try to sleep more. So that doesn't really impact how you split your day or how much you work and everything else you do, but you just try to oversleep a little bit. And at the end of that week, if you add 30 minutes per day, you have gained half a night of additional sleep, which is great for you and your health.
Yeah, I'm going to have to steal that and give it a go, see how it works out.
Yeah.
And just changing gears a little bit here, one thing that I did want to touch on as you think about the health and wellness industry more broadly, and specifically a couple companies that have gone public recently, there's definitely some overlap. We mentioned Casper, but also with Peloton. They started out with kind of a premium product. It's something that a higher upfront price, but convenience and just outcome. The hope is that it'll return its value and improve adherence over time, so people will continue to exercise. Do you look at either of these companies' examples and try to think through what they mean, what the implications are for 8 Sleep? Have you learned anything from their public offerings and just how the markets have responded? And how are you thinking about that, your place in the landscape?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we look at Casper IPO, we look at Purple Performance, we look at Peloton, we look at Tesla. We can learn a lot from all of them and how the markets reacted to all of them. But for example, if you look at the performance of Purple and Casper today, it's very different. So Purple is doing extremely well and the price per share keeps going up. Casper just went public, so it's probably too early to say. I think Peloton has amazing opportunities. I think based on what I heard, they're working on new products and they have a very strong community, which is powerful. And obviously for them, subscription is working great with a high attachment, particularly high retention rate more than attachment. And then Tesla is at the peak, right? So I think they're reaching their new highest level in price per share. So we see ourselves somewhere between the Tesla and the Peloton. Peloton is different because of the subscription compared to Tesla, but Tesla really has the best technology and hardware. And there are a couple of options like autopilot that you just pay whatever X $1,000 more, and you have this extra software feature. That is part of how we see our business model. And so the pod comes with a lot of technology, some technology that right now our user might not even be using or knowing that is there. And at a certain point through software, we will unlock new opportunities for them. So the autopilot model is something we have on our mind as well.
Yeah. And that's, you mentioned a couple of times, building out the platform around sleep fitness and some awesome products that might be in the pipeline, and then some features that users might be using now that they don't even know exist. Can you pull back the curtains there? Is there anything in the pipeline that you can kind of speak to in terms of roadmap or product development that we should be on the lookout for?
Yeah, so we really think of this vertically integrated ecosystem. And so the end goal is to innovate with through technology and make sure that we really control the whole ecosystem, the whole sleep ecosystem, right? So all the environmental factors are really relevant as you sleep. So how can we? It's fundamental for us. And we think there is where we can find sleep efficiency. My vision is, what if in 10 years from now, you could sleep only 6 hours and get more rest than when you were sleeping 8 hours? That is a 25% improvement in sleep performance. to achieve that, we want to really address and manage every environmental factor for you. And then on top of that, we also want to provide any other product or accessory that will have an impact on your sleep, in particular on helping you to fall asleep faster, in achieving better sleep while you are asleep, and also wake up more refreshed and groggy. Our work starts 1 hour before you go to bed, and it ends 1 hour after you wake up.
And it's changing what we think of as sleeping, right? Because even to this point, it's when you think about the bedroom, when you think about going to sleep, it's laying down, you have your bed, your blanket, and your pillow, and that's it. You go to sleep. But what you're saying is it's much more involved than that. It starts an hour before you're even ready to get into bed potentially, and everything that's happening in the room affects how well you're sleeping, the quality of that sleep, and so even getting that through somebody's head that this is much more in depth than just laying down in bed every night.
Exactly. And sleep is something you have to do every day, and it's so important for how you feel in the morning, for your energy, and also then as a consequence for your personal and professional life, that you need to take care of it. And the difference compared to regular fitness is it requires less effort. Sometimes going to the gym is tough, right? While instead taking care of your sleep is really about being methodical, having good habits, and using products that can do part of the job for you. That is how we see the future of sleep.
Yeah. And one other thing to that point around sleep and, building that habit, as you think about, sleep as it relates to mindfulness, we've kind of touched on, but also mental health and recovery. Just how do you see the industry evolving as we go forward, and just how we think about not only sleep, but, really taking care of ourselves from a mental health, preventing burnout and anxiety, and a lot of things that have become an issue in our society that really sleep can be at the foundation of?
Yeah. I'm a huge believer in vertical integration. And so I think as we grow as a company where we have the real opportunity to really become this, place this platform that can provide all that you need for your sleep. Until now, when you think of sleep, you just say, oh, sleep is my mattress and my pillow, right? But that is oversimplified and it doesn't work anymore. That is a concept that comes from 1800. But right now, sleep is something much deeper. You cannot pretend to be super high energy and a high performer during the day, and then you just go to bed and you just fall asleep. Right? So you need to work on your mind in order to relax and to slow down. You need to set the right temperature. You need to maybe, again, take certain type of products that can help you with that process. So it's something much broader that involves your mind first, because otherwise your mind would be racing. And then it involves your body during the night. In particular, temperature. I don't know if you travel a lot, but all the times I travel, I struggle by feeling hot or cold, or I fight with my partner about the temperature in the room. And that is something that happens to 50% of the couples. All these little tiny things, at the end of the day, they have an impact. And maybe you lose 3% deep sleep, or maybe you toss and turn 10% more, or maybe you wake up 2 more times during the night. All that has an impact on how you feel in the morning.
Right. And addressing all those things and really thinking about how you optimize and get a handle on your sleep. It's been really interesting to hear about how you're approaching that and what's next. And we'll get you out here on this and wrapping up. Where can people find out more about 8 Sleep and learn more about the pod?
Yeah, our website is 8sleep.com, EIGHT sleep.com. And go and check out the pod. It's our hero product, and it can help you sleep better, you and your partner. Because again, 50% of the couples, they fight around temperature at night. The pod solves that. We can track your sleep, your health, and also change temperature during the night multiple times to keep you always comfortable and help you fall asleep faster and get more deep sleep.
That's great. I hope everybody goes and checks it out, picks up a pod. Matteo, I just want to thank you for joining us. It's been a really great conversation and super insightful. So thank you for the time.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thanks everyone for listening to today's episode. For more from Fit Insider, visit insider.fit.co and subscribe to our weekly newsletter for insights and analysis on the business of fitness and wellness. Then, go ahead and subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. See you next time.